actually like trying his composition of Thor, Banshee, Viking, Medevac, Raven, Marauder, Marine. I know it's a mouthful and it's a lot of different units to be making, but you can just put them all in a pile and hold position, you know? You don't need to use them all individually. It's not nearly as complicated as trying to do Banshee Harass while you also try to push with Marines. Like, and that's only 2 units, right? 2 units used in 2 different ways is much more complicated than 6 units used in one way. Again, you're fighting away from your tanks. Hopefully you're going to try to pull them back into your tanks. No, you're not. You're just going to fight independent of your tanks and be like, I didn't even make tanks. What's up? And now half of your Marauders aren't fighting. And that was just all pretty poorly done. A lot of times you'll lose to using your units incorrectly rather than to not having enough units. So I think this game is a primary good example of this. Before any fighting happened, you guys were 118 to 128. So he was slightly ahead, but you had a much better composition. Marine Marauder is a hard counter to Thor. He doesn't have any tanks to stop your M&M. Banshees are very weak to Marines, and you have almost exclusively Marines. Not almost exclusively, but you have a ton of freaking Marines. He has a bunch of Marines and Marauders, but those are very weak to tanks, especially when the tanks are protected on the high ground over here. So you have an army that could easily beat his army, but then you lost a huge chunk of it. Boom, for no reason, right? And then we come over here, and you just kind of elected to take these guys over here and these guys over here and not even fight with them. And then half of these guys don't fight either. Like, they kill a couple guys and then they just kind of stand up here. So, it's all about how you used what you had. You had enough to win and you didn't use it correctly, and so you lost that battle. Now, it's possible... your third should always be a planetary. You don't get tempted into making an orbital with your third, because by the time you're making a third, your income should be 2,000 or 3,000. So the addition of 4 SCVs is not worth the potential loss of an entire base. And this is really bad. Never fight tanks against Thors. You want your tanks really far in the back, like 13 range in the back. That's like this far in the back. So if his Thors are here, you want your tanks way over here. And then you want something here, like Marines and Marauders. So yeah, all of that was quite bad. Plus, you seem to have lost a ton of your SCVs. I'm not sure how that happened. But battle cruisers are another thing that's really hard to counter without just having a ton of Vikings. So yeah, this is all very understandable. You did better than him on macro, and you had a good composition, but it's harder to use your composition than his, because siege tanks are just generally very hard to use. Thor, his composition is something I would actually recommend you do, because it's very easy to use. You just A move to a place and then stand still, and then A move to another place and stand still, and that's all you have to do. So I think I recommended this a long time ago, is that you should get used to M&M and Thor, because it's so much easier to use than M&M and tank. Get 1 or 2 tanks with siege mode to hide behind a bunker and keep yourself safe, and then just stop making tanks and make only Thors from then on. So yeah, you would have won this game if you had positioned really well and used your units well. I really like seeing you lose this way. Like I've said before, your macro is better than his, and if you keep doing better than your opponent on macro, you will start winning games once you learn how to use the units. Good job. See ya.